Good Tuesday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I am your meteorologist, Joseph Peterson. Let's go ahead and talk about the weather for your Tuesday evening going into your future. We have some stuff that we are going to talk about tonight. We have some weather that we're going to talk about tonight to be more specific. And so, before we get to that, if you are new here and you have not hit the subscribe button yet, go on and do so. It's free. You can change your mind at any time. We're at 598. That is if you only click the subscribe button once. You don't have to click any more afterwards. And then, if you are returning or new, make sure that you go and hit the like button, hit the share button, share with all the people that you know. We are right now 7 people have tuned in and only 5 likes. So if you're a part of that group, go on and hit the like button. So what are we going to talk about tonight? We're also going to talk about the current weather, obviously, the weather for tonight, and the tropics. We also will continue to talk about our flood risk that we have as we go into tomorrow. We will talk about the models for the long-term future as well, our patterns, cold fronts that will move in, and stuff like that. So let's go on and talk about it. Starting off here at 8:57, this is when the last radar scan came in, and you can see nothing going on. Now, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. But for example, if I go to the actual weather station at my house, or just in my area, and see what it says fog/mist, and that is because it is misting outside, but the radar can't pick it up because the rainfall is not heavy enough. It's not. It's kind of like too small to pick up on this convection here, and so that's why it kind of just says fog/mist. It's just because it's too small for the radar to pick up. So when I say nothing going on, really nothing is going on, but there always will be that chance for mist, and that occurs with every, no matter where it is. That occurs for pretty much a lot of people, rather it be over in like the northwest and the northeast and the southwest. If I say nothing's going on, there might actually be just some mist going on. But what's going on throughout the entire U.S.? You have some rainfall going on in North Carolina as well as Virginia, going over into New Jersey. Also do have some rainfall in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Missouri. Also going into Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana. We also do have some storms that are moving off the coast of Texas right now. Some rainfall also moving up here inside of the Pacific Northwest from the panhandle of Washington over close towards Seattle. And if we look at what's going on throughout the entire U.S. in terms of winter precipitation, not really seeing much. It just seems like rainfall for the most of us. Cloud cover. We do, in fact, have some cloud cover going on that goes through the upstate, goes through the Midlands, Low Country, all of these areas right here. Chance for some cloud cover. And if we go to cloud cover for the future as well, go ahead and push this forward. Cloud cover here, which it's not wanting to move so great right now. I don't know why. Maybe I should refresh it. Go back. Yeah, that works. Alright, so go ahead and push this forward. Cloud cover will continue to remain here as you go all the way into tomorrow morning. So it looks like that cloud cover will continue. Even as you go into tomorrow afternoon/evening, cloud cover will still be a main factor. Current temperatures right now, 51 in Columbia as well as 52 in Orangeburg, 54 in Somerville as well as 52 in Sumter, 51 in Florence and 55 in Georgetown, 56 in Myrtle's Inlet as well as 56 in Myrtle Beach, 54 in Conway as well as 56 in North Myrtle Beach. We also do have around 55 in Charleston, 50 inside of Greenwood as well as around 49 in Greenville, 48 in Spartanburg and even Gaffney, 49 in York, Rock Hill, and Lancaster. Low temperatures for tonight, you have around 46 in Greenville and Spartanburg as well as 46 in Rock Hill, 48 in Columbia as well as 49 in Sumter, 49 also in Florence, and 47 in Kingstree, 49 also in Moncks Corner in Walterboro, even around 55 in Hilton Head Island, 52 in Charleston, 50 in Georgetown, and 52 also inside of Myrtle Beach. Rainfall for tonight. 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch going in for Winsboro, going for Newburgh, going for Aiken, Camden, Dillon, Rock Hill. 10th of an inch to a quarter of an inch going in for Spartanburg, for Lawrence, and then maybe even a quarter of an inch to a half an inch possible for Anderson going into Greenville. Now, somebody will have that potential to get potentially up to an inch and a half. It's possible. Is it going to be widespread? No, but it's possible, so that's why we are looking at that. Crazy score for tonight, we're at a 24 inside of the mild category. The reason why we are there, because obviously we still have a light rain / drizzle going on, and also it's going to be cloudy as well, so that will also add to it. SPC outlook for tonight, no thunderstorm activity is expected. No thunderstorm activity is expected at all for tonight. Tomorrow, there is a bit of a thunderstorm risk over there in like the eastern PD areas, eastern Grand Strand areas in Horry County going on up there near the South Carolina, North Carolina border. And that is because convection, if the convection forms, that being the ingredients are there. So all the convection needs to do is get going and it can turn into a thunderstorm. That's over there on the eastern side. No severe weather is expected, but on Thursday, the day before Halloween, looks like we stay nice and thunderstorm less. Just not getting any at all that day. Now for day 2, this is for tomorrow. Excessive rainfall, isolated flash flooding is possible up here inside the upstate. This is for Pickens going to Walhalla, Seneca, Greenville going into Travelers Rest, and Landrum, South Carolina. Isolated flash flooding is possible here tomorrow, and so you have to watch for that. That's for tomorrow going into that Thursday morning. So let's go in and look at the models now. We're going to start off here at 9 o'clock. Not a lot, obviously, but if you continue to push this forward, going all the way to 2 a.m., look at this. Rainfall continues, and it kind of tries to make like a bit of a comeback here. But again, not heavy. Not heavy. It's looking like just some more misty, more drizzle conditions. There goes the cold front over there to our west, passing through Alabama around 7 a.m. And while we just are receiving just like some isolated stray drizzle shower activity going into like the early morning, but nothing much. Cold front brings in some more moisture going by to around like 1 p.m. or so, but that's not the main cold front. Here's a look. You can see where this line is right here. Go over to the dew points. You can see that's obviously where the cold front is, even though it's not really too much in terms of like humid air in front of it. Kind of almost the same. It's really just the warm air that's in front of it that's kind of making it more present. And before the cold front gets there, we're going to show that right over here as well. But if we continue this forward in terms of convection wise, obviously I was just talking about the rainfall up there in the upstate getting going by around like 1 to 2 p.m. And it continues all the way to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 p.m. And the cold front's finally passing through by around 9 p.m. or so. And we're starting to see that shower activity start to move into the Midlands as well, move into the low country by around 10 to 11 p.m. And then that goes all the way to 1 to 2 a.m. as well, passing through the low country, passing now into the PD areas. And then as you continue to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 a.m., looks like we are on the drier side, but there could potentially be some isolated showers behind it on the back end of the system. So you're going to have to watch for all of this. And with all of this, obviously, will come that threat, potentially, for some gusty winds to pass through. I mean, that's usually what happens with most cold fronts. You can kind of see like where the line is, where you can see like the dark blue. It's a bit of an uptick. But here's what the dew points look like. Again, like I said, there's going to be some warm air in front of it. It's going to push out, and we're going to be back inside of the dry conditions, and not only just dry precipitation wise, but just dry atmosphere wise, just as it's not going to be too humid at all. Even if you go in and look at humidity as well, would not be that high. Now what about the future? So we're going to start off here at hour 48 on October the 30th. This is where we ended off. You go in and push this forward. High pressure takes over. It's nice and dry going all the way through November the 2nd. But then the 3rd comes along and decides it wants to bring a pretty big system. I mean, this is something that we're going to have to watch for here on the 3rd around just less than a week from now. Just less than a week from now. Does this look like a cold front? in terms of that, I mean, it kind of does because after like this cooler air moves in, some warmer air tries to move in. Is that from the system itself? If we even go here, we can go to the dew points as well. It honestly just looks like, honestly, it looks like that's almost just like some warm air. Actually, it almost seems like that system actually just might be some warm air, kind of like getting us away from the cooler air. You go in and push this forward. Now there will be a cold front after though, November the 5th going into the 6th. There will be another cold front going through there, and after that, November the 8th, another cold front will be pushing through down that time frame, and we're not done because another one happens just to our north over there on November the 12th. So this is just becoming cold front city at this point in time. Have a cold front that passes through tomorrow. You have a cold front that passes through on the 5th, November the 5th, and look at those dew points right there. This is not temperature. This is dew points right here. And then another one passing not only on the 5th, but also again on the 9th. And then there will be a cold front. I'm not quite sure if it will make it down towards us, but it tries to come through around like November the 12th or so. Now, I will say that's 300 hours out, so that one's a bit too far out, and that one will change. But it's interesting to look at. I'm looking to see these temperatures. You know, do you see any 30s or anything like that? I'm not seeing. I mean, I see it like up there in the very far upstate, but I'm not really seeing too much in terms of 30s. In terms of like the actual far-term future at this point in time. And so it looks like for the most part that we probably will stay inside of our probably some low 40s, trying to get to high 30s. But the upstate for sure will definitely get it. Maybe even parts of the Midlands will as well get into those high 30s. But in terms of like the low country, the PD, the Grand Strand, I'm not quite seeing 30s just yet. So that's it in terms of our future and our long-term future. What about the tropics? Obviously, Melissa being the main thing that is being talked about right now. Thankfully, it is no longer that strong. It got all the way up to 185 miles per hour, gusts 200 plus miles per hour. Thankfully, because it's over land, obviously, it is weakening now. It's only at 125 miles per hour. But obviously that doesn't mean that it still is not doing damage. And not only that, but it's going to re-strengthen again back into a Category 5. Not Category 5, Category 4, excuse me. So what does it look like right now? This is what Hurricane Melissa looks like right now. Definitely, I'm pretty sure this has been the strongest storm of the season so far, around 185 miles per hour. So I'm pretty sure this is the strongest storm of the season that we've had. This is what it looks like right now. Still has that main hurricane look to it. But if you go on and look at the discussion for what they put for Jamaica, remain in safe shelter tonight. Damaging winds will continue. Reports of Jamaica this evening. Catastrophic flash flooding and landslides are expected across the island tonight, with widespread infrastructural damage, power and communication outages, and isolated communities. For Haiti and the Dominican Republic, catastrophic flash flooding and landslides are expected across southwestern Haiti and the southern portions of the Dominican Republic through the next day or so. In Haiti, extensive damage and isolation of communities is likely. Tropical storm conditions are expected later today and Wednesday. For eastern Cuba, heavy rainfall, flash flooding, and landslides are expected soon. Life-threatening storm surge and damaging winds are likely to begin later tonight. Seek safe shelter. For southeastern and the central Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands, hurricane conditions, life-threatening storm surge, and heavy rainfall are expected across portions of the southeastern and central Bahamas on Wednesday. Complete preparations by tonight and follow local officials' guidance. Tropical storm conditions, heavy rainfalls, and significant storm surge are expected on the Turks and Caicos Islands on Wednesday. And then I've been talking about Bermuda for a little bit now, saying that Bermuda definitely has to be watching for this as well. And this is why, for Bermuda, hurricane conditions and heavy rainfall are possible in Bermuda beginning on Thursday or Thursday night, where a hurricane watch is now in effect. So this is now something that they're really gonna have to watch for over there as well. I've called that out for Bermuda for about like the past couple of days now at this point. And so this is what it looks like right now. Here's what the actual cone Looks like it's really going to start speeding up. Going to go a lot faster. Right now it's going north-northeast at 8 miles per hour. 125-mile-per-hour storm with gust right now of up to 145. And so the actual eye of the storm is past Jamaica at this point. The actual eye of it as of 8 o'clock p.m. The eye of the storm is actually past it. Even if you go to satellite, Hurricane Melissa right here. Maybe. Might. Potentially. There it is. Alright. So this was at 9:10 p.m. You can see the actual eye of it is now past. But obviously in terms of actual wind, its wind field, obviously that's a different story. If we go in and look at its warnings and surface winds right now, for the most part, you can see that Jamaica is still inside that main tropical storm force winds for sure. But the main hurricane part, the main hurricane force winds, is now moving off at this point. And so that was as of 8 o'clock p.m. So that's a good thing. That is a real good thing. But unfortunately, areas of like eastern Cuba, they're about to receive it next, and they already are receiving tropical storm force winds at this point in time. So that's what they're looking for now, even further into the future. So in terms of the models, which I know usually, it has nothing to do with South Carolina, so usually I wouldn't say anything about it, but why not? For the most part, you can see most of the models continue its way through, going through, the Bahamas, going through Bermuda, and then goes up there in the northern Atlantic where it dies out. The GFS, same thing, pretty much going to go up to the north and die out. It's actually going to stay pretty strong for a good little bit, and it actually might try to intensify a little bit more as it goes into the northern Atlantic, which is interesting to see. The GEPS has it actually going up and taking, even portions and bringing impacts over into Atlantic Canada as well. So this thing might not be done by time it's done with the Bahamas, and by time it's done with Bermuda, it might bring more effects over there to eastern Canada. Intensity guidance for the most part, though, like I said, on a downtrend, not really looking for too much else, but it, like I said, it potentially could re-intensify a little bit more. So that's pretty much the updates there. I do want to talk about the actual rip current threat for us as well. If we go into the tropics right here, we go into rip currents because we do have a threat for some rip currents. Will it be from Melissa? For the most part, probably. But you can see right here today, tonight, high risk of rip currents tomorrow. Definitely a lot less. Definitely a lot less inside the moderate category. So definitely rip currents are possible. They're not likely, but they are definitely possible. So if you're to the beaches tomorrow, you're gonna have to watch for that. Another thing I can actually go in and show real quick before we go in and talk with the audience is if we go in and look at the southeast and we go in and look at the wave period. Go and look at the models right here. Boom. We're going and push this forward. I'm actually gonna move over into the western Atlantic. You can see right there, those rip currents that we're getting actually aren't from Melissa. They actually are trying to come from the actual north and east of us. And so Melissa's going to come through, bring in some more rip currents of her own. You can see as it spreads its way through, all the way through to Halloween. Like, we will have, for sure, some high rip currents through there. And then even as you continue through, rip currents will continue all the way through to early November. But things will start to calm down a little bit. But we have the one, obviously, before, which is the rip currents that we're getting now are not coming from Melissa. They're just from a little wave that came from the north and east. But then, like I said, Melissa will cause her own after like a couple of days or so. And so that's it in terms of rip currents and just in terms of high surf. Let's go in and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off, Trail says, greetings, Joseph, greetings to you. First in here tonight says, cold, rainy day here. Thank you so much for that weather report to where you are. It also says, praying for Jamaica. Melissa showed out. It did, for sure. It did, for sure. I'm pretty sure this is the strongest storm, strongest hurricane of the year so far. Now, what about any other chats that we have. My Aunt Lula comes in and says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Also says, I pray that everyone had a blessed day. I did. Hopefully everyone else did. She says, today in Georgetown it rained all day, cold, and a little windy. Pretty much was that pretty much was the motto for a lot of us throughout the state. Cold, a little windy. You know, I don't even think the hottest it got at my house today, oops, there we go, was only around 57 degrees. 57 degrees. That's all it got to. That's what my old one said. My new one says 57 as well. So the high temperature for today was actually 60 to where I was. Actually, it didn't even get up to 60. It got all the way just to 57, and that's where it cut off at. Mr. Anthony comes in and says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Mr. Chris comes in and says, good evening, everyone. Hope you had a great day. Pretty much rained all day here in Muck's Corner. Thank you so much for that weather report where you are. Please remember to go hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Also, share with everyone that you know. Please help the channel achieve the 600. Absolutely. If you are new and you have never hit the subscribe button before, go and hit the subscribe button. But if you're returning or you're new, go and hit the like button. It's free. You can change your mind at any time. My cousin Cheryl says, good evening, everyone. Hope all is well. Hey, weatherman, how are you doing? I'm doing great. I'm listening. Keep up the good work. It's Shirley and Philly. Love you. Be blessed, Cheryl. Thank you so much for that comment. And glad that you're listening to us tonight. My Aunt Lula comes back and says, I went to Myrtle Beach today. And it was just as bad as Georgetown. For the most part, I mean, yeah, they're relatively close. So I would say, for the most part, you know, except for, you know, maybe near like the beaches, matter just where you are, because I think Georgetown is definitely more inland than Myrtle Beach is. So conditions in terms of like exact coastal areas, you know, might be a bit different, but for the most part, yeah, it probably was around the same. Trail says I had to put extra blankets on the bed. No heat on yet, even though it's been getting down into the 40s. I do have my portable heater in here, and that warms up my room very nicely. Very nicely. I kept it on. It was on for about like an hour or so. It was like a portable heater. Not the main heat in the house. And it got up to 80 degrees inside my room. That's just with that alone. So, for me right now, it's 75 inside my room right now. So, it's nice. It's nice, but we do have the heat on right now. My Aunt Lula says, I'm praying for everyone in Jamaica. Mr. Chris says, same here, Miss Lula. And so, absolutely make sure that Jamaica, not only just Jamaica, but also just the Bahamas, the Turks, Caicos Islands, Cuba, Bermuda, all of those areas are in your prayers. My Nana says, hi Jay, hello to you. And then Mr. Michael says, keep Jamaica in our thoughts and prayers. It may take years for a complete recovery in the disaster areas. Absolutely. Absolutely. 185 mile per hour winds, gusts of up to 200. Yeah, that's definitely going to do some bad damage and cause, like I said, isolated communities who might not be available to the public for a good little bit. And then also just the amount of life-threatening flooding that showed up, the life-threatening winds that showed up could cause structural failure. All that stuff could occur. And so that is why we definitely need to be thinking of those people. So let's go on and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. What am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and also Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about those locations is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly. And even though it's not their area, South Carolina is not where they live, they decide to show up either way. And so that is why we go on and talk about these areas. So we start off first with San Antonio, with low temperatures tonight at 56, high temperatures tomorrow at 69, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 42. It's going to be windy. It's going to be windy tonight. It's going to be breezy tomorrow, and it's going to be breezy tomorrow night. So definitely, you could hear some wind tonight as well. I mean, you're going to have wind gusts of up to around 40 miles per hour tonight. And so you definitely can hear that inside. Not really just inside like whistling, but just in terms of your house maybe shifting or anything like that. Now, in terms of excessive rainfall and severe weather, you do actually have a fire risk, and that obviously is one of the reasons why it's going to be windy and why that fire risk is there is because of the wind. Tomorrow, you have an elevated fire risk that is the lowest of the fire weather conditions, but it's still something that you have to still watch for. Not going to be critical or extremely critical. You're almost in that critical range, so that might change tomorrow. But for now, you're just in the elevated range. So definitely, if you don't have to burn anything tomorrow, please don't. Then for Raleigh, North Carolina being the next location with low temperatures tonight at 47, high temperatures tomorrow at 59, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 54. No severe weather and excessive rainfall is expected at this time, but precipitation, there is a chance of rainfall tonight. Showers are likely tomorrow, and showers are expected tomorrow night, so you do have to watch out for that. For Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight at 45, high temperatures tomorrow at 58, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 50. Slight chance of showers tonight and tomorrow, but tomorrow night, rain is expected tomorrow night, so you do have to watch for that. You do actually have a chance for some excessive rainfall on Friday, and going into Saturday morning, isolated flash flooding is possible for you. And then Duncan, Oklahoma being the last area, low temperatures tonight at 44, high temperatures tomorrow at 59, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 35. Precipitation is not expected, but windy conditions are expected for tomorrow, and so it's going to be wind gusts probably getting into like the 30-40 range. So you do have to be watching out for that. And so that's why wind advisory is in effect for you for tomorrow. And also a freeze watch as well, because with low temperatures near 35, you're getting close to that freezing territory. So it's not a freeze warning, but it is indeed a freeze watch, meaning that you do have to watch for some potential freezing there. And that is all that I can see here for these four areas. So what's going on in terms of the entire United States right now? Honestly, breezy offshore winds and very dry conditions will continue to promote elevated fire weather conditions across the coastal southern California through Wednesday morning. And critical fire weather conditions are also forecast for much of southern Texas Wednesday as gusty winds and low humidity persist. Not only just throughout Texas, but just also throughout, in terms of wind, not just throughout Texas and Oklahoma, but also through Arkansas, through Tennessee, through Mississippi, through Louisiana, through Kansas, through Missouri, through Iowa, through Nebraska. All these areas have a chance for some wind, 30 to 40 miles per hour, to move through, and that is with a cold front, meaning we are about to receive our cold front soon. We're going to be receiving those gusty winds as well. Now, are our winds over here in South Carolina going to necessarily be as strong as theirs over there? Probably not. Probably getting to around like 25, miles per hour, maybe 30. But even if I go, that was like in the low country. If I go up towards like the upstate in Greenville, I only see 26, 20. So yeah, around 25, 30 miles per hour is all we're going to see. So it's not going to be as much as they are receiving gusts of up to 40 miles per hour. That, and then also widespread rain and shower and thunderstorm activity are expected from the Mississippi Valley into the northeastern U.S. today. That freezing condition, we were talking about that all the way back into Arizona, the Four Corners area, and it's going to be hot, up to around 90 degrees over there near California. And for the most part, that Hurricane Melissa and then some freezing potentially going on up there inside of western New York, Buffalo, Rochester, those areas up there will receive some freezing tonight. And then that is all that I can see here in terms of the entire U.S. So that's going to wrap this up. I don't see anything else inside the chat. Top fans for tonight. This one actually was pretty close tonight. It was almost a three-way tie. But if I go on actually back and check real quick, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, my Aunt Lulu was number 1. I think Mr. Chris was number 2, and then Trail was number 3. So congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans for tonight. If you want to be a top fan, you can. You just have to go on, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, obviously, because the chat is in subscriber only mode. That, and then also share it. Share it as well. Sharing it would also be great. Doesn't necessarily put you on the board, but that would be fantastic because we're at 598 subscribers trying to get to 600. Remember, you only have to hit the subscribe button one time. Once you click it one time, that's it. You're done. You don't have to click it again. I will be back tomorrow morning with your Wednesday morning forecast update. Make sure that you are there. Remember, Thursday night, we will have our drought monitor update. And then on Saturday, we will have the winter forecast for obviously November 25, December 25, and then January of 2026. And then we'll also have our November forecast as well. And then that Sunday, we will be talking about the first week of November. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday, and make sure that you tune back in tomorrow.